Welcome back to another overcaffeinated Demiurge video. In this one, I'm just going to be going over some gameplay that I recently went through, some Season 77 gameplay. I recorded this a couple days ago, haven't had a chance to voice over it, edit it down yesterday, and then just voice overing it today. So I'm going to just be covering my mindset and how I go through different attacks. I'm recovering from strep throat, so I might need to clear my throat or take some sips of water, so please disregard that. Hopefully it's not too annoying for you guys. But yeah, basically, I'm just trying to build my KP as much as possible before bubble. And as most people know, you attack the lower players first, or lower KP players first, and build up from there. I don't attack everyone that's lower KP because I have two other clanmates that are on the island, and I try to stay around 4 to 5 cities away from clanmates' main cities, if possible. And then, of course, if they're branching out and have a larger area that they're controlling, I try to stay a few cities away from that as well. But took a few cities from this guy. I actually started the recording of this after I had already attacked him a few times because I was going to run through people and I figured might as well record it for you guys and cut it down. This is going to be a slightly longer video than normal. It was a total of, I think, 92 minutes, and I cut it down to a little bit under 36 because there were some areas that I kind of kept slowed down so I could explain a few things for you guys later on, and you'll see when those are. But yeah, I am trying to work over to Radif a bit. I don't want to send a long march, and so instead I take these few 80s, 87s and whatnot from, I don't even know, I'll just call him Tony because that's the end of his name. So I take those and kind of make a little bit of a jump over to near Radif is, and then move my troops in, and I believe I'm just full stacking these cities because I scout the general perimeter and do not see that his troops are nearby. And his main city is a little bit further away as well, so that's not an issue for me. I probably should have done some single scouts to those 85s on perimeter before sending this, but I was feeling confident that he wasn't in the area, and I wouldn't say that's the best idea to do, just assuming someone's not in the area just from a single multi-scout, but generally at least the first attack is fairly safe, and you can see after I make that, then I do scout his surrounding cities and I don't see any troops nearby. So then I split off into a 400 march to the 85s and start running through those while I'm still attacking the 95s, because if I do spend too much time attacking and just go all the way up to the 95s and then split off to take down some of the 85s, then I might waste enough time to give him the chance to come down and wall one of my marches. Now, I will say right off the bat here, I don't wall or get walled by anyone during this march. So if you got, or not this march, during this KP climb that I have, so it's bordering on a more boring video, but because of that, then I am able to add a bit more commentary because it's not like have any focus points, as well as not, I'm actually able to cover a few different slight strategy things that I wanted to say earlier. But yeah, I also spread out my troops to this bottom area because I knew that I was going to be attacking this guy, and so I wanted to place troops in that area to attack from that point later on. And as you can see, once I take that first one, I split off into two 450 stacks, or roughly 450, to take out the 85s. I generally like to attack with under 700 for 85s because if you do attack lower, it's not hurting me to attack a little bit lower because with my striker, it's still hitting for over a G or so. And I'm not losing many troops. I'm lower level, so it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not lower level, but I'm lower level, and I've been recruiting a decent amount of troops, so I don't really care too much if I do lose a little bit more off these 85 marches, because the base city for 85 is around 350. I'd have to check personally. I don't have like the chart in front of me, but that's about where it's at. Then, of course, I do send a longer march towards the 91 because it's the only one in the area. I scout it, and there's not much there. So send that, and that's fine. I probably could have sent upwards of a G and would have been fine there as well. But I'm really not losing much, maybe like perma loss of 10, 20 mil off that. So I do not mind that at all because by the end of the video, you'll see I'm nearing 50 mil KP. And so I'm making like 300 some an hour, and the 20 mil or whatever doesn't really matter too much to me. So it's really about positioning, and you can see here I split my troops into 3 areas to attack this guy. And so the 700's going through those 285s, the 3.12 G's going to the 93, of course, and then the 957 to that. And that just really makes it so, and you can see I kind of notice that these cities aren't up for wall experience, but I am already recording and I do plan on bubbling fairly soon, so I figure I'll just jump through those first 2 and then I'll attack the ones that actually do have wall experience. And I believe, I'm not sure. I do know I go for the level 100 that Mark Action has, but I'm just not sure when I do that. But it's pretty soon. So a lone 80, it's 100% experience. I figure I might as well take that wand there. I do split a march here to the 85s just because one is a bit longer, so its chance of being walled. Might as well hit the other one while I'm there. I don't go any lower on the left side. You saw me peek, or right side, sorry. You saw me peeking over there because I do have one of my clanmates down there and one to the further right of me as well. You see me looking at this level 100, and I want to grab it while it's still 1.5 or 200% experience, so I figure I might as well do it now. It'll only boost my KP up by a little bit under a mil. Once it drops 2 levels, it'll be like 800 KP, I believe. So I'm checking out my calendar rewards, see that it's 24 hours, and so obviously I'll be claiming that towards the end of the video, where I can boost my KP as high as possible by dumping gold before collecting any troop missions or clan quests that will give me troops so I can gain the most troops possible. And this is because troops for me are way more important than gold. And this is simply because it's harder to earn troops in gold because there's so many less ways of earning troops than gold. And not so many, but there's a good amount less. So also, I generally suicide my troops at the end of the season to make gold. So in my mind, troops equal gold. And you see me there, I made a mistake. I pressed continue on the troop expedition, and then I'm busy with attacking, and this happens a good amount. I was busy with attacking, and I let it sit for a while, and I actually let the expedition die, and that was a mistake on my part. I do send out another one because this one was from yesterday, so I'm able to send out another one for free. Technically not for free because I rerolled for it once, but either way. As you can see, I did take that 183 to the left there for 0% experience because the walls weren't up yet, just to get to the other 83s in that general area. I really only one extra, but I figure I'm boosting KP, so taking 183 at 0% experience isn't a huge issue for me. Then, of course, I stopped before the 90s because I want to be hitting that with a little bit more. Just a quick quick global chat check to see if anyone is complaining about me hitting them. And this is a good thing to do here and there because, and you'll see it later as well, when you're hitting people, especially stronger people than you or people higher level as this guy is, and many people on the island are to me, sometimes they'll be asking you to stop. Maybe they'll be warning you even, like that they'll wall you if you keep attacking, so a good thing to keep out. Look for it, be more cautious maybe once you see that, or stop attacking, if you want to be respectful, I guess. But it's important because they might be trying to communicate with you, asking to leave like one city in the area, which is reasonable. Unless their main is nearby, I will generally leave them a city in the area just so they don't lose their jumps. And I like to do this simply because I don't want to lose my jumps either. If someone's running through me and I'll ask them, can you leave a city in the area if I'm off, on another island. And generally they're respectful and they'll do that. So I like to keep looking on clan chat, see if anyone's asking anything like that. But I do send a few marches over to that 83 because I'm going to be hitting the 96. And I realize I'm past his KP mark now, so he's going to be 50% experience sooner than later. And so I want to hit the higher level cities first. And I haven't actually done the math to see if it is more profitable doing this. Because if you hit a higher level city, they're losing more KP and it's dropping 2 levels, so you're gaining less KP than you would if you took like as many 80s as it would take to add up to that KP of theirs. So you're gaining less while they're losing more. So it's hard to really check if it's worth more, but I would be able to do that, but I just haven't put in the time. So if anyone else wants to put in the time and give me an actual value, then that'd be awesome and definitely would appreciate that. But I haven't actually taken the time. So obviously I'm not going to hit the 96 with 1.6 Gs because I believe the base defense is like a 2.7, something like that. So I am working through a couple of these 85s and I'm going to hit that 90. I really shouldn't have hit the 90 because although, yes, I've been hitting some cities without wall experience, it's kind of because I don't have a direct line to the cities that are past them that I plan on hitting. And so what I should have done instead is maybe just left that city, the 90, and I might have just been not paying attention. I probably just was not paying attention. Yeah, I opened a few chests here. I'll leave it as a mystery if I get any legendaries by the end of the video. But I do open like 4 or 5 chests just from clan missions and leveling and whatnot throughout the video, and you can see now that I notice my expedition has died, which is unfortunate. And obviously I'm not going to spend the 500 sapphires to resurrect. I did actually get a good amount of like 2 and 4 hours on that, so I probably could have pulled almost a G from it, but kind of a mistake on my part. And so I just sent out another expedition and hope for the best. I think actually my second expedition did get more hourly troop rewards. And of course that's based off KP if anyone's curious. So if you're sitting at 1 mil KP and your troop expedition adds up to 10 hours, then you basically just multiply the hourly times your KP, so it'd be 10 mil troops that you gain from that troop expedition. Sorry, I just need to get some water. My throat's dry as hell. So, I am splitting out my troops a little bit and trying to run through these 85s. I notice there's timers on the ones towards the top there, and so I am waiting a little bit for those as I also move down and grab the 385s on the bottom of the map. And I'm pretty sure I already took the 96 maybe, but I'm just making sure those all have all experience. Doing a scout to both of them. I do scout the other one. I believe I scout the other one. That would be kind of risky if I didn't, but I've noticed that the time is enough, and of course you can send it before the wall. It's kind of common knowledge, but you can obviously send an attack before the wall experience is up, just as long as the attack lands during the time. So like if the wall experience says 10 seconds left and you send the march that's 15 seconds long, you'll get there after the wall experience is available, and she'll be able to get it. And so that's just something pretty common knowledge, but just wanted to explain that in case some of you were unaware. But I pretty much take most of the cities there. I'm surprised I haven't taken the 96 yet. I thought I took it earlier, but my bad. I guess I was moving troops and got distracted in this, but I am moving up to attack Maze a little bit. Not because they're the next highest person on the island, but because they, along with, I want to say Crimson King, something like that, they own the majority of the left side of the island. And so I sometimes like to mix in hitting like double experience or 1.5 experience players along with the weaker players, just to kind of make up for all the experience I lost hitting the weaker players. And so I take those first three because they're easy to get, pretty much, and I had troops there. And then I'm looking around because I'm not sure what my attack pattern will be. I do plan on taking these two cities here, and I did have to reload the game there because it wasn't loading the multi-scout or whatever it was. And I guess I don't take the 96, guys. That's my bad. I thought I took it. Maybe I did, and I'm just like forgetting what I saw like 2 minutes ago. But yeah, another thing is you notice how I multi-scouted from my upper city there, the 92, because it hit the most cities in the area. So this is something to keep in mind. If you have a city, although you're not attacking from that city, then you have the city that covers the entire area versus one that covers just like 2 or 3 cities. So it's smart to attack or multi-scout from the one that hits the most cities. And then you see I sent a small march there because for 2 reasons, really. One is if he has troops in the area, because I haven't scouted all the cities surrounding, then he won't be able to wall me as much. So I'd rather take a high troop loss on a smaller attack than a total troop loss on a larger attack, in case he does plan on walling me. And I do move troops over to the area here because I did plan on hitting the 98 and then hitting through Chair Force. Definitely don't plan on taking the 116. I'm pretty sure I don't even have enough troops for it. But when I scout this general area, I see that Maze has upwards of 10 Gs in the 116. So I don't really attack his cities on the right side there. Now, yeah, so you see 17.8 Gs. So I went to attack, I'm like, oh, no way, I'm not doing that shit. So you'll see here, because I'm going to be sending a sub-G march to the 95 of Chair Force, then what I want to do is send 500 off of it, so then it's like 4.65. And so you see I try to do that, and it doesn't let me, and so I have to reload the game. And then when I load back in, it sent 2 500 marches. So now my troop is there instead of 4.65, then instead it's 4.12. And so I send a 20% march and a 30% march to those other cities, or maybe just 2 20% marches, and attack 2 of Chair Force's things there. And you see I'm not really reinforcing the attacks that I'm sending to Maze, because when you're attacking 95s, 96s, if you're hitting with a lower troop count where you're still getting good experience from it and you're losing a decent amount of troops, but you are also making them gold, then you have a lot lower chance of being walled. Now, I'm not sure if Maze had troops in his main or was moving them or whatever to 100 there, and he could have walled me, but it's much less likely that he would try to wall me if he is making enough gold for me. And it's kind of the same thing here with Chair Force. I'm hitting with between 1.4 and 1.7 Gs through all his 95s throughout the city. And you see I took a screenshot there because my clan has a watch what you say chat, and we just post like random screenshots of people saying sus things. So he said, Jesus so hard. And I'm like, oh, let me screenshot that because it's like kind of taken out of context and just a funny thing, which I enjoy doing. And there's another one later on you'll see as well. But I do send a sub G March on that 95 closest to his main, because if I sent a G March, then obviously he could quite easily get to that city from his main, and I can't scout any troops that he has in his main city, so I'm not sure if he has them there. And I take another screenshot there because he said, what did he say? I wonder if he'll show it. No, it went through it. Either way, he said something suspicious, and I screenshotted another person's stuff there and posted it later. So yeah, just running through these cities. Some of them I'm sending sub-G marches to if it's closer. Obviously to level 90 cities, I'm sending sub-G because it's only 700 something mil defense. And the reason I was scouting that particular city of his just now is because I noticed that he is outlining troops in some of his cities. And so I was seeing if he's covering all like access points. And so he'd be covering it from that top corner, covering from Maze's side. But he wasn't, so it's just like a faulty prediction, really. And so I'm pulling my troops into this area, and I will be sending a sub-G march to the 95, because with a sub-10 G march, I don't know how to say it, like sub-G march makes sense, but otherwise it would just be above G march. This sounds wrong. But a 1 to 10 G march, then it would be a bit long, and I don't know about you guys, but if I see a small attack, I might not try to wall it, but if I see a larger attack that's coming in slow, I'm always tempted to try and wall. So what I like to do is send smaller marches if it's going to be longer, and I'm fine with a higher troop loss. So you can see here I'm moving up to 1.6 G marches. I was hidden with 1.4, 1.5 earlier, but I forget if I noticed that he was getting enough gold from it here or later. But I could hit the 95s with up to, I want to say 1.7, 1.8 G marches before he loses gold on his investment, because he's running full cautious along with some salvager, and it's sub 200 salvager, but it's still making him enough gold. And so I'm kind of just working my way here. I scout again, and he moved his 4.46 Gs to the 101. And so I'm kind of wondering what I want to do here. I'm pretty sure I sent a sub G march again to that because, I mean, I kind of doubt he could get there in time. But then I see in the world chat, and you guys might have seen it, just go through here. He says, south, something south, baby. And so I'm like, okay, he wants me to go south, which is obviously downward. And so I kind of worked my way there and still sending higher marches. And it's kind of like, I wouldn't say it's trading, but it's almost like an agreement. Like I don't state an agreement with him, obviously, verbally or whatnot, that I'm going to never wall him or he's not going to wall me. So I just keep sending the 1.6 or 1.5 to 1.8 G marches to his cities, and he decides not to wall me probably because I'm making enough profit. And I do this as well if lower people that, even if they're pink, and I'm pretty sure I won't get the cities back, if they're low enough, or they're sending low enough marches, and I'm making enough gold back, then like, why would I wall them, you know? I'm making a profit from this. And of course, I come back and I try to level what I can in the area. I don't have a ton of gold, obviously right now, 10 Gs. But when I collect my clan mission and the calendar quest or calendar mission, whatever it is, as well, then I have like 40 Gs to dump. And so I do that at the end of the video, and you'll see that later. So sending smaller marches, just moving down south. And I believe I send another march off the 781 before more troops arrive. Because I'm impatient, but we'll see, maybe not. No, I guess not. All right. So yeah, I generally like to attack 91s with more troops, but because I didn't want to move troops out of the area so that I could go up to a 20% march, then, or 30%, whatever it was, then unfortunately, actually it'd be 40, but unfortunately I just sent a small march there, then slightly larger one to the city underneath it, and that's fine. I don't mind losing a bit more troops in that aspect either. But I do move downward through the cities, and this is the point where, because he's gone from 1.5 experience to 100% experience, this is where the sending like 1.7 Gs actually does hurt me a little bit. But it's like I already ran through so many 1.5 and 200% experienced cities that it kind of makes up for this part of the attacking. So I wouldn't necessarily always do this, but it does make sense in this scenario because I am trying to build my KP. And the higher I build my KP, of course, then I gain more troops from my daily mission or daily expedition collect, as well as my clan mission collect. So it does kind of even out itself. And of course, I'll bubble, and then I will get 6 hours worth of production from that as well. So this is pretty... I'm coming up to a point here that I did want to show you guys, but these next 4 cities I take are pretty slow. But I'm thinking of hitting that 100 up there, but in the meantime, I'm hitting the 85s. And you can see what I'm doing here is, as I'm sending an attack, I reinforce that attack because I know I'll lose whatever it is, 300 Gs. And so I send 300 Gs behind it so I don't have to wait as long. And he doesn't seem to be trying to wall me, so I can do that without too much worry. Because otherwise, of course, I would be just sending more troops to their death if I thought he was going to wall me. But you can see here, I do move my troops towards the 100, and then I figure I might as well hit the 98 as well beforehand. So I send A bit of a reinforcement there. I'm checking the wall stats on this because I want to send enough so that he makes gold and doesn't wall me preferably, but also that I don't lose too much either. And so I figured it's a little bit over the actual troop count. So like, let's say the wall defense was 2 Gs, I would send like 2.3 Gs. Because with my striker, which is around 327, I believe, 328 in this, with my striker there, then I pretty much send around that much. And so I think the wall defense was a bit over 3. But I forget, even though I just looked at it like 20 seconds ago. So we'll see. But what was interesting to me is Mark Action, I think it was, is running through his cities, and you can see kind of to the right here, his flag there. And he's running through some of these cities, and I scout, and he has the 7.91 Gs there. And so I continue to scout his city because I am thinking I might not be faster than him, but if he does send a march to the 95, it'll likely be the full stack that he has there. So what I will do instead is I'll send like 4 or 5 sub-G marches to the 95. And the first one will take it, of course, and then the other ones will get there. And I will be able to probably underwall him, but I can get up to like 400% guard without swapping my skills. So it'd be pretty solid. But he decides to be cautious and not send an attack there. So instead, I just send the 1.7 G march that I've kind of been doing this whole time. And then I collect my troops, pull them over to the 89 next to the 100 there. And I take 100, and then I run through the 95s. Because I only have 3... Let's see, what do I have there? I only have 4G troops. The wall defense is like around 4G. And so I only want to take 100 because it knocks down 3.5. And then I attack the 95, the other 95, and then I'm pretty much done. You did see how Mark Action scouted a city kind of further up, so it looked like he was maybe trying to get a jump. I don't really want him to take more cities, although it's just a single city. Who knows if he'll take more. So instead, to kind of confuse him, I sent just a 60K march at the city that he scouted from. So then he's like, I don't know what the hell that means, and he didn't attack anymore. So as you can see here, I'm dumping the 10, 11 Gs that I had, and I'm evenly spreading it out. I thought it was going to be 86s across the board, because I had a lot of like 80s. So I figured I'd get everything to 86 and that'd be good. But instead, it turned out to be like 87s. So if I did everything to 87s, I'd have been fine. So I did some 88s there and left some 86s and whatnot. So just trying to squeeze as much KP out, because if you spread it evenly, then you get higher KP. So it's trying to spread as much KP out as possible. So then I collect these, get 3G gold, or 3.5G troops, and like 30-some G gold as well. Open a few chests here. Unfortunately, no legendaries, but I'm able to disenchant. And I decide, I've been saving these for a while, but I'm never really going to spend the 500 sapphires to reroll them, so I figure I'll dust them, get 100 sky dust, and I still don't have enough for a Templar. I thought I might have had enough. But you see here, I'm just throwing them all to 90s because you can kind of, there's a website that you can type in the level and how much it'll take from leveling from one level to the next and get a rough estimate of how much gold you have to spend throughout them all. But I was kind of just doing a rough estimate, and I was throwing them to 90s, and I do that, but I still have like 15 Gs left. And you see here I'm checking, because when you go to the city tab, you can tap on the level and find the lowest level cities, so it's good to find the lowest ones. So then I'm like, all right, I'll throw these all to 92s and I'll be fine. But that's pretty much the end of the video. You can see here I'm a bit above 50 Milk AP, so I do my mission collect later, and of course I'm getting hourly. But yeah, I just want to share that with you. A little bit of insight, a little bit of gameplay, sped it up for you guys, so hopefully it was a little bit interesting. I do want to let you guys know that I am going to try to be releasing my Warfare Wednesday on time this week. I've been slacking definitely, but been busy. Otherwise, join my Discord server, which I'll link in the description. It has everything that you need to know about the game updates and whatnot. You can always ask questions there. Just a cool place to hang out and keep up with content, or just ask questions, as I said.